Get to the latest in the Trump transition. New allegations are threatening the nomination of his pick for defense secretary. That's Pete Hegseth. It comes after former colleagues accused Hegseth of excessive drinking in interviews with NBC News. Well, a new report suggests the president-elect could now be looking for a replacement. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander has the details for us. Peter, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. So support for President-elect Trump's embattled Pentagon pick Pete Hegseth may be wearing thin. This does follow a series of allegations that are raising questions about Hegseth's character. The latest focused on, as you referred to it, whether Hegseth drank excessively, with 10 current and former Fox News colleagues sharing their concerns with NBC News. The Trump transition team, notably, is still publicly standing behind Hegseth, even as discussions emerge that the president-elect and his team are considering possible alternatives. This morning, as Pentagon pick Pete Hegseth's nomination struggles, President-elect Trump is mulling other options. Two sources familiar with the decision-making tell NBC News Trump is considering Florida governor and former GOP rival Ron DeSantis as a possible replacement, as well as Iowa Senator Joni Ernst, among others. Both DeSantis and the Trump transition team did not respond to our request for comment. But Hegseth's nomination appears to be in trouble. Multiple Republican sources tell NBC News that as many as 6 Senate Republicans are currently not comfortable supporting Hegseth's bid to lead the Pentagon. He can only afford to lose 3. A key Trump ally expressing hesitation.
Articles I've read, some of them are concerning. I don't know if it's true or not, but he'll go through the process.
Yesterday, new allegations of excessive drinking also emerging about the decorated combat veteran. NBC News spoke with 10 current and former Fox News employees who worked with Hegseth on one of the network's morning shows and say the former co-host drank in ways that concerned them. 2 saying on more than a dozen occasions they smelled alcohol on Hegseth before he went on air. Everyone would be talking about it behind the scenes, one of the former Fox employees said. Another former employee saying he should not be Secretary of Defense, adding his drinking should be disqualifying. A Trump transition spokesperson called the allegations disgusting, completely unfounded, and false. Fox News did not respond to requests for comment. Hegseth has denied an allegation of sexual assault from 2017. He was never charged with a crime. On Capitol Hill, Hegseth was also pressed about his recent comments that women should not serve in combat.
Do you think they should be in combat?
I think they're already in combat.
Some Republicans urging colleagues to reserve judgment.
I would just urge my Republican colleagues who are very worried that before they make up their minds, let them have this hearing.
And Trump's team is expressing confidence in his pick.
There aren't any concerns, and we feel very good about his positioning for being confirmed by the Senate.
So it's not the only setback the Trump team is dealing with right now. President-elect Trump's choice to head the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, also backing out. Chad Chronister is his name. He pulled his name just days after Trump announced that he would nominate the Florida County Sheriff. He's from Hillsborough County. That's the Tampa area. Chronister ran into opposition from Trump's base for his strict enforcement of COVID lockdowns. But notably, Savannah and Joe, with the recent withdrawal of Attorney General pick Matt Gaetz and now Hegseth's hurdles, the Trump transition team is hoping to avoid more distractions. They just finalized an agreement with the Justice Department to allow Trump's team to submit names for FBI background checks. Savannah.
Peter, before I let you go, I do have a question. Also, overnight, there were some reports that Kash Patel, that's Trump's pick to lead the FBI, was targeted by Iranian hackers. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, that report coming from CNN, they're reporting that Patel was recently informed by the FBI that he was targeted in an Iranian cyber hack. CNN citing 2 sources familiar with the matter. The hackers are believed to have accessed at least some of Patel's communications, according to one of the sources. NBC News has not confirmed those reports, and Savannah, the Trump transition team, has not acknowledged that any hack took place.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.